At some point, I'll fill out the form, and I'll see you guys later. Happy Friday.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Tiffany.
All right, Steve, it's all yours.
Oh, thanks a lot, Tom. Golly, I only found out about this yesterday. Good morning, Mr. Martin. Good morning, everybody. How are you?
I gave you an indication a week ago.
I know you did. I'm giving you a hard time.
No, I didn't. I told them yesterday or the day.
Exactly. Yeah. Where's Mr. Anderson? Where's Mr. Anderson this morning?
Yeah, I just sent them a message. Hopefully he jumps on soon. Last night was the inauguration for the Board of Realtors. So he was the past president and has to attend doesn't have to, but it's highly recommended they attend every year. And I'm sure it went a little late. No,
gotcha.
Here he's up.
Tom, real quick, Tom, and obviously hopefully we can bring some value today, but did anybody see Daryl, I don't know his last name, his Facebook video on that real estate sign, on his for sale sign? Anybody see that? I thought that was clever. So it was like the
same Daryl that went live, right?
Deb?
Same Daryl that went live on the TV show?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Daryl Desiak.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody saw it, but check it out. He did like a little Facebook video on one of his real estate for sale signs. I thought it was pretty clever. So sorry, Tom.
That's no, don't. Listen, whatever it's going to bring value to the agents, if it's something that they can get the same results, that's what we're here for, is to share. So good morning, everyone. And thanks for being here this morning. Thanks for taking time out of your morning and day. And those of you who are in different time zones, thanks for getting up a little bit earlier to be on this call. I asked two individuals to be on the call today, and I want to just kind of talk about a past there. So I asked Ian Anderson and Steve Pugh to be on the call, and I want to do what's called an Unplugged series with the two of them. And I don't see Ian, so if he's not on the phone in about 2 minutes, I'm going to post his cell phone number, and every single one of us text him at the same time. Okay? Yeah. We'll all text him at the same time and say, you need to get on the call. You made a promise. All right. So anyway, I want to talk about being unplugged. So both of these individuals have been in the business around 22, 23 years. And those of you who are brand new agents, those of you who are merging agents, and when I talk about merging agents, is agents that are going from 3 million to 7 million, 3 million, 7 million to 10 million. See, there's always obstacles to go through when we're growing our business. And then sometimes we get overwhelmed because we have too much business. Well, when we get overwhelmed and get into chaos, that means we got to create leverage, right? And what kind of leverage is it? Is it people? Is it systems? Is it tools? Is it models? And then you got to figure out which one of those it really is, okay? And systems, tools, and models are pretty simple to implement. I will tell you, implementing people into your business is really, really tough.
That's probably one of the most difficult components.
Yeah, finding the right executive assistant, finding the right director of operations, finding blah, blah, blah. It is one of the toughest processes because we hire a family first. And it's the worst thing. Don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. Not saying that they're not qualified, but make sure they're qualified with expectations. So I want to kind of talk to Steve and Ian, if Ian gets on the call. I don't know if he's on yet. I'm going to hit participants, Ian, see if he's here. He's not yet, so I'm going to put his cell phone number in the chat, and let's all text him at the same time, guys. Hold on a second. He's gonna love me for this. Sometimes we create our own issues, don't we?
No comment. So Tom, I guess.
So hold on, Steve. So
yeah.
Everyone, please text Ian. Say we're waiting for you on the call. Ready? Just he'll be fine. Those of you who are driving, don't text and drive. All right. All right. Everybody do it. I know Claire did it.
Phone's going to explode.
All right. So basically, I want to kind of, I'm going to start off with Steve because Ian's not here yet. And there's a couple things that I have written down here. And I've heard these through masterminds throughout all the years that I've been in some pretty big mastermind. I've been in rooms with people earning 10, 12, 15, $20 million in income a year. That's a pretty cool feeling to be in that room. And by the way, they started out brand new too. They were brand new as well at one point. Execution trumps any other ideas. Execution. See, one of the biggest things that we don't do is we don't execute when we put things together. Energy is the key to everything. And you get what you expect. And here's one of the toughest things. Saying no to good things. Because what happens is we say yes to the things that we want to do, but we say no to the things we know we have to do to get the results that we need. We look for those distractions and live by your calendar. So, Steve, I want to kind of start off with you and kind of go, hey, you know, did you start a team in the first day that you started in real estate when you got your license and closed 175 transactions?
Absolutely. Doesn't everybody? No, of course not. So I'll try not to be too long-winded. I mean, when I first started in the business, a lot of my business was reactionary. So, you know what I mean? There was no structure. I don't know if you guys have a structure for when you get off this call, or whether you're just on and then you jump off and you maybe respond to an email or you check your text messages. My business started to change when I went from E to P, from entrepreneurial to purposeful. Okay. What that means is it's mastering something, and it's time blocking. And at the end of the day, it all comes down. I don't know, there's no other way around it, but it's all going to come down to consistent and disciplined lead generation. And then mastering your scripts and role plays. So as we know, we have 5 duties as a real estate agent: lead gen, lead follow-up, script and role play, negotiate contracts, go on appointments. That's all we should be doing. We're not doing anything else. Lead gen, lead follow-up, scripts and role plays, go on appointments, negotiate contracts. So it kind of changed for me from being reactionary, doing 30, 35 transactions a year, to getting purposeful with this, consistently lead genning. We have a team huddle from 8:15 to 8:30. We have script and role play from 8:30 to 9:15. And then we lead generate from 9:15 to noon. We're not perfect. This is in an ideal world. There's days where things will come up that it's unavoidable, but you have to guard your time. You know what I mean? The easy way out is while you're in the middle of lead generating, an email pops up, or it's such an important phone call that you have to respond to it and it cannot wait until noon. It can wait until after 12 noon. If you want next year to be different, you have to be disciplined with this and start off slow. You know, maybe just make a personal goal for yourself that you're going to contact 5 people today out of your SOI and 5 for the next 5 days. You know, make peace with the boredom that comes with mastery, because it's not flashy. There's nothing great about lead gen. There's nothing sexy about it. Some days it sucks, but it's up to you. It's up to you whether you want to see the results 60, 90 days from now. So that's the change that I made. And then as my business grew, then obviously I leveraged with the help of EXP systems and tools, and then I leveraged with people. So, and you got to burn the ships. That's another thing. And when I say that, does anybody know that story? It's just a silly little anecdote. So burn the boats. You know, there was, I've actually got it here. I'm going to read it real quick. I don't want to bore you guys. How do you define true commitment? let me tell you how Hernan Cortez defined it. In 1519, under the sponsorship of Cuba's governor Velázquez, Cortez sailed from Cuba to the Mexican mainland with the goal of gaining riches for Spain and fame for himself. Though only 34 years old, the young Spanish captain had prepared his whole life for such a chance. But the soldiers under his command were not as dedicated as he. After he landed, there was talk that the men might mutiny and return to Cuba with his ships. What was his solution? He burned the bloody boats down. They weren't going anywhere. So how dedicated are you to your team? Are you totally committed, or do you have an out just in case things don't work out? Remember, there is no such thing as a half-hearted champion. So, I mean, the moral of that story is burn the boats. There's no way out. You have to lead gen. You have to be consistent. You have to be disciplined, and the results will come. And then as your transaction count grows, then you can leverage.
You know what? There's 4 letters, P-A-P-A, Papa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I heard this from Dean Frederick on November 2nd, 2021. How do I know that? Because I have a journal that I take notes in, right? The P stands for persistence. The A stands for action. The P stands for patience. And A stands for ask for help. You know, what Steve had just mentioned there, and even as burning into the ships, not only was he persistent on that journey, but he took action and he was patient, but he also created, he kept his intuitions going and did the things that he needed to do.
And Tom, it's consistent action. And I don't want to sound arrogant. If you go up against me on a listing appointment, you're going to lose. And you're going to lose because I script a role play every day, 5 days a week. That's why you're going to lose. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
Or they're going to lose because they don't ask for the business before you get there.
True.
I'll challenge you to that. I won't. And you know, you're right, because see, what you just did is you set the tone for yourself. You said, I'm going in there and I'm not losing, right? Exactly. If I desire to take this listing, I will take it.
But I know that we can all get there. If I can do it, you know, I wasn't, and I'm not God's gift to anybody. It's just, you know, applying the discipline and mastery, and I haven't mastered it. It takes 10,000 hours to master something.
It does.
It's a consistent journey.
It does. So Steve, I sent you a report the other day. What was that? Do you know what that was?
I did, and that was huge for me. And the lesson that would be probably what you focus on expands, and then going back to burning the ships. My business was very buyer heavy, very buyer driven for, 20 years. So only 21 years. So only in the last 12 to 18 months, I'm embarrassed to say it, did I focus on listings, focus on sellers, turn and refer buyers away because I burnt the boat. You know what I mean? You want to take that buyer lead. Oh my gosh, I can't give this buyer lead. They're qualified. It's a referral. You know what I mean? I've worked with this family. I referred them out. But only do that if you know you're going to use that time that you would have spent with that client to lead generate and leverage and get a listing lead or get a seller lead. Otherwise, it's pointless. You might as well just continue to work the buyers. If that's, you know, I loved working with buyers for many years, but I knew I had to make that switch because I had to get that leverage and that time back, because I didn't want to be running around with buyers all over town.
Yeah, and as leading a team, you have a responsibility to create inventory for your team members to get from the calls for the buyers, right? So those of you who are at the point of running a team, think about that, because is a buyer appointment important for you to go on versus going to get another listing to create 2 more buyers for your buyer's agents, right? And find that balance. You know, am I a buyer's agent or a listing agent, or am I both? And how do I lead into the other? You know, when I sent Steve his report, his business was up nearly 30%, and his business was up 30%, but his listings were up
28.
How much? 38?
28%.
28%. So see, your listing inventory will also show you total volume increase, right? And now I believe he's more listing seller heavy than buyer, or it might be around 50-50.
All I was doing to make the switch is reaching out to my SOI. I got all my SOI into KV Core. Anytime we did an open house, they got an email, evidence of success. Anytime we listed something or sold something, our SOI got a postcard. I got real intentional with my database, quarterly calls for closed people. If you guys don't have a huge database, grow it. Try to make a commitment to at least add, you know what I mean, 2 people to that database a day. I'm still doing it. I just added 3 people yesterday from additional SOI calls where I didn't have all the information I needed. I got addresses yesterday, an email address. So now every time a property goes live, we send them a postcard. We'll send them an invitation to an open house that we may be conducting that given weekend. So I really grew it through organically, through my sphere of influence, going through my phone contacts and reaching out to past clients consistently, not once a year, not, you know what I mean? It was every 3 months. And I just touched on them and grew it that way. And now we do client events. We just did a pie day for Thanksgiving. All that stuff matters.
Yeah, nothing really changes. You know, when you're a single agent and just starting off, is no different than when you're running a mega team like Steve. It really isn't. Steve has more leverage. He's going to do more transactions naturally because of the leverage. But if you hear what he just said, he does the same daily activities that a single agent should be doing. Script and role play, lead generation, doing huddles with people that that he influences to help them grow. So if you're a mega agent, mega team versus being a brand new single agent, you should be doing the same activities. That's it. You're doing the same activities. Lead gen, script and role play, follow up, go on appointments. Nothing changes. See, the process is simple and easy. We just make it complicated.
It's just getting into action, Tom. That's all it is. I mean, there's people in my sphere, in my phone that I don't want to call. I wanted to skip over them. And then those are the ones you call. And then those are, you never know where that conversation is going to go. A couple of other things we do is look at HomeBot and HomeBeat. Those are 2 valuation tools. They're pretty inexpensive. So we'll send them out to past clients and also my sphere of influence. HomeBot.
What was that again, Steve?
HomeBot, B-O-T,
okay.
And HomeBeat. And we also use a digital newsletter, TMPCO, or Michelle knows, TP, I always mess this up, TPMCO. Some of you may be familiar, but that's like an e-newsletter that we send out also to the database, in addition with a paper copy every other month or every quarter, I think we do it.
So Steve, I got a question for you. When we were talking, when you were transitioning your brokerage into EXP, you had the biggest fear of your business declining, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then as you surrounded yourself around the people, you knew the things that you needed to do. And then you changed your focus a little bit more on your script role play and your lead gen to your sphere of influence. And would you credit that towards the increase of your business, or would you credit the market? Because your units are up as well, by the way. Units are up, not volume. See, volume tells you the market's doing better. Units up says you're doing better.
You just educated me on that fact. So I'm trying to understand that question.
So when you transitioned from your brokerage, when you transitioned your brokerage into EXP, one of the biggest things that you were worried about is your business going down through a transition, because sometimes you step back to move forward, right? And we've talked about that a lot of times. But what you did is you ramped up and you consistently did the lead gen towards your sphere of influence versus all the leads that you had.
Exactly. And I leverage myself out of working the buyer leads. And once again, it's what you focus on expands. If you make a commitment and you want to focus on listings, that side of your business will grow. And that's what it did, because I wasn't responding to buyer internet leads or working the phones 5 days a week for 3 hours on internet leads. I was working my sphere and building the database.
You mentioned something earlier, and Jessica had a question. I'm going to jump into a few of those for you, Jess, on that for him to answer. You mentioned KB Core as a resource for your transaction management, not your transaction management, but your CRM, and your sphere of influence in your KB Core.
Right.
Talk about the power of a database in KV Core, because those who are not utilizing their KV Core are missing what?
It's huge, but there is so much more with that tool that we're not using it to its full potential. We just started property boosting. Every listing that goes on, we generate leads that way. But in terms of systemizing the SOI and the database, as we all know, notes are critical. I'll make notes. So if somebody, I hate to say this, but if somebody passes away and it's a past client, those notes are made in there. It flags Michelle. Michelle will send out some wind chimes with that individual's name on it. We'll send out get well soon cards. It's just somewhere to store all the information. And then also the to-dos, it'll kick out 5, 10 a day on SOI that I need to call. So yeah, I mean, there's so much more that we don't know.
Yeah, and that's a leverage piece, even for single agents that don't have an assistant like you, that they can have that programmed in there to do it.
Of course, yeah. As long as they do the activity. You know what I mean? And then don't get behind. And then before they know it, they've got 25 to-dos because they weren't consistent with it on a daily basis,
So we have a question in here from Jessica, and I'm going to pull something up, Steve, as we talk about it with her for a moment. So Jessica asks, Steve, can you talk about your growth numbers from owning your brokerage to now, how you're doing with EXP? And I love that question, because here's how it's very relevant. I had Steve and I met with a very small family-oriented brokerage yesterday, and I can tell you, when we're working alone, we don't have the power of systems, tools, and models than as a massive group together, right? Mm-hmm. So as a massive group together, when people say, "Oh, I'm going to get my broker's license, I'm going to open my own brokerage with my own name, and I'm going to be a one-man show," they are going to spend way more than if they're with EXP. Because here's the thing, guys, you guys have so many amazing tools to grow your business, KV Core and everything else. So Jessica asks, can you talk about your growth numbers from owning your brokerage to how you're doing now with EXP? And I might have to help him along with this, because I actually have his screen up in front of me that I submitted to him.
Right. The biggest thing,
100% accurate. It may be off a little bit because the MLS may not be coordinating the numbers fast enough. So talk a little bit about the last 12 year to date. So I sent you your year to date numbers from January till November 29th. Over last year. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about not the numbers, because what has been important for me, obviously we're all in this game to make money, right? Let's not get sideways on that. But the main thing for me is who I get to partner with. I have the opportunity to get on these calls and hopefully try to bring as much substance or value that I can to you guys, which I'm still learning. I'm new at all this too. So that is one of the biggest things is the collaboration, the fact that I was an independent broker. I was the smartest guy in the room, or at least I thought I was. And I don't want to be. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't want to be the best guy in the room. I want to be surrounded by people that are bigger and better than me. So that was an integral part of the decision and the reason why I shut down my brokerage and moved over. I want to give Jessica the answer she's looking for. I mean, obviously the business has grown. The tools and the systems, I know we always say that, but the tools and the systems have been a big component. And the people that I have been able to surround myself with and associate with, that is what has driven the change in my business. And Tom can attest. I mean, I was doing fine before I came. I didn't come because I was struggling, you know? I came because I saw the opportunity. And it's been nothing but opportunity. It was opportunity for myself, an opportunity for the people that worked side by side with me, that had families, that now have stock accounts that I couldn't give them. Where the bloody hell am I going to get stock from? And revenue share. So, I mean, those things were important. In terms of Jess, I hope this is answering your question. In terms of my numbers, Tom, what do you...
So Jess, here's what EXP has done for him, and it's basically KV Core and SkySlope, because SkySlope has been a transaction management, which is an easier process to handle the transactions, and the KV Core is an easier process to communicate with the database. Folks, this is going to be a testament. So from last year, January 1st to November 29th, he had 50 closed listings. This year, the same time, he had 75. So he was up nearly 30% just by utilizing the systems that we have. Now, his total business was also up 30%. So which means he focused more on his seller business versus his buyer business, which gave him more time back. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and so think about that. And really what I want you to get out of what he's talking about right now is you guys have everything that he has.
There's no magic sauce. Success comes to those who are obsessed with consistency. So only you know if you're getting off this call and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Nobody can help you with that. And I hate to sound brash because sometimes I come across that way, but you've got to be at peace with that, you know? So.
Yeah. You know, you also have to own your position and where you are today. The places we are today are the choices we made yesterday and years before. Okay. So if you choose today to be in the same situation with no listings and not lead generate, then tomorrow you'll be in the same place you are today. But if you choose to lead generate today and get a listing tomorrow, you're moving forward, you know? And there, again, there is no magic. And I will tell you, based on what we have in our group and our systems, tools, and models, everything is gifted to you to utilize. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overcomplicate it.
And it can be uncomfortable. It's still uncomfortable for me. You know what I mean? But it's an integral part of your business. It's just something cannot be avoided. There's people I don't want to call. There's maybe a client that, you know what I mean? The closing wasn't the greatest and I hadn't spoke to them in 4 or 5 months, and you just got to do it. That's it. You know, what's the worst bloody thing that can happen? So hang the phone up on you. Big deal.
So you know? Steve, you do script and role play and also lead gen. Do you do your script and role play by phone, Zoom? How talk about when you do script?
We do it on Zoom. There's just it's not a huge group. We just do it on Zoom. There's generally 3 to 4 of us every morning, you know, and that it can get repetitive, but it's important. I mean, we have a young man here on the team that's 18 years old that is here with me every day, scripting and role playing. He's been in the business since September 1st. He has 6 contracts pending. I didn't have friggin' 6 contracts pending when I've been in the business for
he's doing
90 days.
He's
but
doing.
He's here and he's committed and he's doing the activities.
And he just got a great listing too, didn't he?
You're talking about leverage and that it was a sign call, and he just converted a $1.2 million piece of property. So
guys, the only way to get a sign in the ground is to get the inventory. To hear that? He converted a $1.2 million opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Are your Zoom calls open to anybody who wants to join? And by the way, when I used to do the group script and role play, I had an expectations, and they agreed to it. The expectations were, I'm committed to showing up every day. If not, I have a really good reason why, because it was, family or life, right? Mm-hmm. Don't just pop in one day and not another, and then pop in another day and not another, because you're a distraction. Exactly. You're not helping anyone. You're actually hurting them. So they're reaching up, they're giving you an opportunity to get in on a Zoom call. Take that as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And it's a judgment, it's a judgment-free zone. You know exactly. What I mean? I'm not perfect. Freaking get in there. And it can be a bit awkward at first, but you got to get, comfortable with the uncomfortable, unless you want to be in the same position a year from now. I don't know.
So Steve, if they wanted to join in on that Zoom for the script and role play, can Michelle put that up on the icon series when you do it and everything?
Yeah, I can. Yeah. So it's a hard stop at 9:15, but it's 8:30 every morning until 9:15. Obviously, if you just want to jump on there and listen, we'll run through objection handlers. If you have any input, I'm open to it. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It's judgment-free zone.
Now, guys, we have our 8:30 to 9:30 call, our masterminds. So if you choose to...
That's the only thing, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you choose to be on that Zoom call for scripting and role playing, let Steve know, hey, these are the days I'll script and role play, because these are the days I want to get on the GPS calls because they're important to me, right? And that's okay. And that's okay. Steve's on the call right now today at 8:30.
Andrew's in the other room. I hear him.
Ian's in the other room. So the other individuals are still doing it, and he's not there. So just have a scheduled on that. And by the way, I remember, and still to this day, when I script and role play with someone, man, sometimes it just doesn't feel good, man. It's just like you get red in the face, you feel like, but I will tell you, so if I go like this, hi, this is Tom Martin with eXp Realty. I noticed your home went expired on the multiple listing service, and I was just calling to see if you're still interested in selling. That doesn't sound good. But if I said, hey, Steve, this is Tom Martin, eXp Realty. I noticed that your home came up expired on the multiple listing service. Are you still interested in selling your home? It flows, right? Mm-hmm. And, so any question, and one of the biggest things on scripts that I always felt like I'll never say that. I'm just not going to do it. Hey, Steve, on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to sell this home in the next 30 days? Mm-hmm. Because that right there, I felt like when I was reading it, it wasn't real. It's like, oh, that's weird. No, I still ask the question when I'm out talking to agents on a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated are you to join eXp today? Right.
But you've got to script and role play it, and then it just rolls off naturally. It's like a seller pre-qualifying script. We pre-qualify 100% of our sellers 100% of the time before we even go on the appointment. And there are set questions in that seller pre-qualified script that have to be asked. And some of them you would say to yourself, well, I'm not going to ask them that. But you because we're afraid that we'll disqualify the appointment and we won't be able to go. But you want to pre-qualify these people. You don't want to be wasting your time,
Steve, so, I got there's a great question here, and I'm not going to steal your thunder to say the same young lady I I don't know. I hope it's well, two people put which method of lead generation would you recommend someone who's just starting out, and how can we join the role play? Okay, so he's going to put on Icon Series the link for the role play. But which method of lead generation would you recommend for someone who's just starting out? If you were sitting with someone,
I mean, when you say method, we're talking about open houses, we're talking about door knocking, we're talking about hitting the phones. Obviously, people that have a challenge with the phones are going to try to find a way out of it by convincing themselves they're going to do something else. As long as they take action on that other course of lead gen, that's fine. But ultimately, it's all going to come back to the phones. So, I mean, I would start with your sphere. I would start with going through your phone. I know you've heard this 1,000 times. Do it. Call everybody in that phone and touch on them and do it consistently. If you're just going to call them one time, don't bother. So you've got to do it at a minimum. You've got to do it quarterly. And you've got to just check in. Sometimes, hey, this is Steve. It's been a little while. I know this is a bit of a strange call. We haven't spoken a little bit. I just wanted to check in with you and see how you're doing. That's it. It's as easy as that.
When agents call me and say, Tom, I'm stuck, I said, okay, well, pull out your phone, go to your contacts and scroll to the bottom. How many contacts you have? And they'll say, all right, I got 1,000. I said, oh, perfect. You got 80 sales just waiting to happen. What are you going to do about that?
You've got to put yourselves out there. You've heard these stories 1,000 times. I was in the bank sending a wire 2 days ago. I got into conversation with the lady that was sending a wire. She's closing on a brand new house on December 16th, and I'm going to list her townhouse. It's just making conversation, and you know what I mean? And exposing yourself and not being a secret agent. Everywhere you go, just have that mindset. You know, everybody you talk to, what you focus on expands.
The other thing too, I would say, and you know, when I first started in the business, I wish this was around. Everybody looks at Open Door, OfferPad, Mark Spain as your competitor, as, oh, they're the bad people. We got to stay away from them. I want you to embrace OfferPad, and I want you to embrace Open Door. And here's why. I heard a young man call me. He was really frustrated. He said, Tom, my friends are selling their homes to Open Door and OfferPad, and I missed the listing opportunity. I said, well, here's what I want to do. If you read Open Door and OfferPad's guidelines for realtors, they're paying you to refer the sale. Okay, so if I'm a brand new agent or a seasoned agent, I'm calling a for sale by owner or anybody who's interested in selling and saying, hey, Tony, I noticed you have your home for sale by owner. Are you accepting cash offers? Perfect. I'd love to come by. If I brought you a cash offer, would you be willing to pay me a commission? Sure, I'll pay you a commission. How much? 2%, 3%? Okay, fantastic. We do a commission agreement. I go home, I put their address in Open Door, OfferPad, and I refer it, I bring them the offer, they accept the offer, I bring it to OfferPad as a referral, and I get 1% or 3% more. Plus the sellers pay me a commission.
I know that Joe that scripts and role plays with us has had some success with that, Tom.
Yeah, I wonder where he learned that from.
Go figure.
So Joe Vero down in South Florida, he does.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, Matt.
Hey, brother. Hey, guys. Sorry I missed everybody at the the Christmas party. I had 6 kiddos.
It could have been a Halloween party for some.
Be careful, because I've messed up. Dude, I'm telling you, I would have shown up in a costume. Be careful, guys. I made the mistake. Do it like Tom's saying, where you go in and you submit the offer. I made the mistake even with of telling them to submit it, because I misread how that referral works.
Yep.
And I wasn't in a commission agreement with them. So they put it in. I convinced them to use OfferPad. I negotiated the contract for them. I read the contract. They refused to pay me the 1% because I didn't put the offer in. The family member did. So that's that's $6,000 lost the hard way. That I don't want anybody else to make that mistake.
Thanks for bringing that up, Matt. Guys, I want to elaborate a little bit on that. So what Matt's really saying is, don't tell them where the offer is coming from. Don't tell them. Say, I have cash investors. I'm going to bring you a cash offer. You bring them the cash offer. You go through the cash offer with them after they give you a commission agreement. Now you got the commission agreement, and OfferPad pays 1% referral, and Open Door pays 3%. So submit it to both. See which one gives a better offer.
Other way around, Tom.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Other way around.
Yeah.
So one or the other. But I highly recommend you guys go to Open Door and OfferPad and read those guidelines. And it says agent, you log in. You don't have to put an MLS ID or any of that. You put your MLS ID, which is your number. It doesn't have to be a listed property. Okay. And utilize them as a partner. You are bringing a cash offer to a for sale by owner. Do you have any idea? I mean, if I go to Zillow for sale by owner, there's tons of for sale by owners. So you have a buyer. You have a cash buyer. It works. Joe Vero will he'll be a testament to it. And every call he makes to a for sale by owner, that's what he says. I got a cash buyer and I'd love to come by and preview your home. And would you be willing to pay me a commission? It works, guys. All right. Stephanie, hold on 1 second. I see a hand up. Steve, I'm gonna open it up for Q&A and ahas. Is there any last minute thing that you want to say? And I'm gonna reach out to Stephanie.
Yes. I am overly critical on myself. Remind yourself every day that you're friggin' amazing. Okay?
I tell Steve that all the time, guys. If there's one person I know that beats himself up really bad, it's him.
Oh, I do. And I've got to change that mindset. You got to try to stay in a beautiful state regardless of what the day throws at you. And it's changing your patterns. If you really pay attention to yourself and how you react to certain situations, those are ingrained patterns. You've got to try to, when you find yourself going down that road, snap out of it and remind yourself every day that you guys are amazing. Okay? That's it. That's the only advice I got for you.
Stephanie, thank you, Steve. And yeah, you are getting way better at it, you know.
Yeah, I used to be very self-deprecating because I don't know, I would see it as a sign of humility or trying to humble myself in front of people. But that when you say it to yourself enough times, you're gonna believe it.
Yeah.
I'm
going to answer a quick question. Deborah, no, I do not. And here's the reason you don't want to do that is because you haven't had the permission to bring them a cash offer yet. Okay. So just get to them first. Don't tell them where the offer is coming from or anything else. Stephanie, go ahead, dear. Good morning.
You're with us, Stephanie?
She's muted. Oh, there she goes.
Hello, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
I wanted to ask you two things. If you could repeat what PAPA stands for. I got persistence, and I think it was actions, and then patience.
Action, patience, and ask for help.
Ask for help. Okay.
So many people they'll say, you know, Tom, I know you're busy. And matter of fact, I owe a call to a young man on this that sent me a call the other day, and I apologize for not. I totally missed that message. But guys, I want you to understand something. When someone has a question of something, you can call any one of us. We're all busy, but you know what? We're all here to grow together. Tony's will be there. Deep will be there. You know, any one of us. Steve. Claire's extremely knowledgeable. Robert Kazazian. I mean, we have so many resources here. If you're struggling at something and you're not asking for help, no matter what it is, you're the one that's going to suffer the consequences because you have a family here of people to help you. Krista, good morning.
Good morning. How is everybody? Thank you. Steve, I have a question for you. What was your pain point as a broker owner that you realized you needed to come over to EXP? I don't know if that makes sense.
My ego.
You know, okay.
I mean, that a pain point. Towards the end, Krista, it was frustration with implementing systems and training and providing the tools. I mean, we were paying $1,500 a month for Boomtown as a CRM with EXP. That is what, $85 a month. So that, and the growth aspect, that's where my pain points were. That ultimately is what led me to make the move. I drove Tom crazy for a long time, and I wish I would have done it sooner. But ego is the devil of opportunity. So remember that. That was a big challenge for me. So.
Thank you, Steve.
And one of the questions, Krista, one of the questions I asked Steve is, what are you going to do differently in the future to grow than what you're doing now?
Is that a question, Tom?
No, that I had asked that many times to you. You know, I asked many times, what are you going to do differently in the future to help your agents grow, like training? Who
right.
do that? Well, what was happening, and the reason Steve's business went up 28% is a lot of things pulled off his plate, such as systems, tools, models, and training.
Right. And then going, Krista, real quick, and we'll move on. But I got pushback from some of my top team members. But now those very same people are involved with and partnering up with people and taking training courses and even being coached by people that they wouldn't have had the opportunity to come into contact with if it wasn't for this company and if I had stayed as an independent. So that was important.
Makes sense. Thank you. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Q&A. Come on. Bring it.
Hey, Tom, this is Tony.
Tony!
Hello, Tony!
How are you?
Tony! I got to give Steve a gigantic thank you for being brave enough to get on here and give all that information you did, man. This was excellent, bro. Seriously.
Tony, I appreciate you saying that, man. I always, you know what I mean? I always worry, even though we've both been in the business a while, if I can give enough, or give something of substance. So I appreciate you saying that.
Oh, you did great, man. I wanted to just give a quick quote that Tony Robbins says, and you mentioned it a little while ago. Tony Robbins says, it's not what you do once in a while that shapes your life. It's what you do consistently. So when you practice your scripts and your role play consistently, not today and then the rest of the month you don't do it. It's what you do every day. It's not the cookie that you eat once a month that gets you fat. It's the cookie that you eat every day. All right. So you need to practice your scripts and role play, just like Steve said. He's spot on with this. All right, guys.
So
that's it, man.
End of the call, Tom.
That's it.
That's it. End of the call. There you go.
Everybody
have a good weekend.
Oreo's a great chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. So here's what I want to say. Tony,
I represent that remark.
Tony Fuentes.
What's up, Red?
Tony Fuentes does script and role play on Fridays. He scripts and role play every day. Steve does it every day. They're highly successful. Do you see something here, guys? You have some great top producers here that script and role play deep. Do you think deep script and role play all the time about his referral business? Are you kidding me? His consistency, it's like he's saying the same thing to multiple different referral people that he works with. Don't make up your own stuff. There's no need for it. Someone asked, what scripts do you use, Steve? Well, I can't answer what scripts he used.
Tom Ferry. It's a hybrid. Jeff Glover from Glover U, incredible mentor, coach, trainer, in my opinion. But the basis of it is Tom Ferry, and he tweaked it a little bit. So
if you go to tomferry.com or mikeferry.com, or even if you go to Icon, the GPS Icon page, you go into files, I put a whole script booklet in there. I put scripts and dialogue. I put a script booklet in there. I put an objection handler book in there. And here's what I would say. Whatever script you use, master it and it will work. But don't come up with your own script.
No.
Where did you put those, Tom?
Huh?
Where did you put those?
In the icon series on our workplace, go into files. You might have to scroll down. I got a lot of files in there, but it says scripts and objection handling. There was a young man that told me he's just started out in the business. He was from New York. He was a construction worker. He was a hard head. It was almost like he was wearing a hard helmet because I couldn't knock on his head hard enough to make him understand this. And I said, and his name's Jeff. He's a great guy. I still help him immensely. And he said, Tom, these scripts don't work. He ripped them up and he said, I'm writing my own. I said, fantastic. Write them all up and let me see them. I said, these are great scripts, Jeff. Why don't you work them? So he did. 90 days later, he says, I'm quitting real estate. I'm going back into construction. I said, before you do that, would you please try these scripts for 30 days straight? Oh, wow. It's amazing what happened. He's like, oh my God, I got a listing appointment. Oh my God, I'm getting listings. Oh my God, this is working. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it works. What scripts do you draw from? Deborah? Well, elaborate on that, Deborah Deere.
I think she's just probably asking what scripts we use.
Okay.
If everybody goes to like MikeFerry.com, you could have a free site there with them. He has the scripts that he shares with everyone there. And then you also have Kevin Ward, who has the Book of Yes. You could either get the PDF copy online, or you could just pay like $9.95 and he'll send it to you for free. You just got to search for it on Google. Always Google. You go on Google, you search for it. You'll find scripts all over the place. And when you do look at the scripts, most of them are all the same.
Yeah. And the same thing, someone posted about door knocking. I will tell you, door knocking is highly effective, but brings something of value, such as this. Hey, we're doing an open house and I want to give you an invitation. Would you be able to come? Love to have you take a look at the home and give us your opinion. Hey, we just sold a home up the road. We had multiple offers on that property. Do you know anybody else in the community looking to sell? By the way, what do you love about this community? What drew you here? So I can share with other potential buyers. By the way, if you did sell, when would that be? Okay. See, these are all scripts. That's all part of the script.
That door knocking is powerful. We'll try to, around every open house, I mean, we'll knock, a couple of days before the open house. Hey, look, you're going to see an increase in traffic. Just to give you a heads up, there's an open house this weekend. And we're reserving the first 30 minutes of the open house solely for the people that live in the neighborhood. So come on by.
Steve, I'm a little confused. Wait a minute. You've been in the business, what, 22 years, 23 years?
I'm not consistent with the door knocking, so I'm not going to take credit for that.
But you do it with your team.
Yes, we do.
And do you call for sale by owners as well?
I do not, but Andrew does. I'm more SOI and database, but that's what Andrew's been doing. The script and role play. We've been script and role playing. A young lady by the name of Emily Peckham has an incredible script that we use. And Andrew just picked one up for sale by owner last week, I think. And you know what? The funny thing, Zillow, been on Zillow for a day. So your monkey mind is going to tell you, I'm not calling that. Let's wait 30 days, 60 days. We'll see if it's still for sale. Been on Zillow a day, called it. We went over there and took the listing. So
here's the thing, guys. They do for sale by owner for just a very few reasons. Number one, they want to save commission. Number two, they just don't know who to call, or they had a bad experience with an agent. You have to prove yourself. Krista, I see your hand up, and then Claire.
Sorry, I'm going to unclick it. No question.
Oh, okay. Claire. And don't try to help me pronounce it properly.
Claire.
All right, Mr. Martin. Just saying. So I wanted to respond to something that Sol put in and says, how effective is door knocking and generating listings? Can I give a little bit of experience on the way that I choose to do door knocking? Because I don't like cold knocking. I like warm knocking.
Correct.
So I do a 10, 10, 20 around my open houses, and it leads to listings because it shows the consistency and the work ethic around
10, 10, 20. What's 10, 10, 20?
Oh, 10 houses to the right, 10 houses to the left, and 20 across the street.
Awesome.
Oh, okay.
10, 10, 20.
Okay.
Y'all want to know more about that? Call
so
Tom
that's 40. That's 40 total. Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So I want to, so the way that I choose to do this is I let them know that we have put a house on the market and there's going to be a lot of traffic, and to invite them to the open house. Once they come to the open house, then I let them know, by the way, you know, that's the way that I door knock it, because I give them an invite. I don't just tell them it's an open house. I'm inviting them, because don't you want to have people around you, you know, because people are flocking to Florida right now. I mean, trust me, 1,000 a day are purchasing homes. So they're flocking here. So why not knock on the door and say, wouldn't you like to know your neighbors? Send this to whomever you need to. Come and take a look, take videos on our open house. Just wanted you to be mindful that we're going to have a lot of traffic on that day. And I have also requested that everybody not park on the grass. Thank you so much. And kid you not, we at least have a listing lead off of every open house, at least one.
So you get a listing lead off of almost every single listing that you take for when you're doing open houses.
Yeah.
Oh, guys. Now, do you have to be the listing agent of that home to do the 10-10-20? Oh, okay. Wow. So guys, that's a huge aha right there. That's a huge aha.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If we want to focus on listings, I mean, you know, you're relying on the lead generation of other people. Not that there's anything wrong with working buyers. I did it for many years. But at the end of the day, you're relying on the lead generation of other people. So just try to maximize every opportunity, as Claire says, around every listing, whether it be circle prospecting, door knocking. You want to try to maximize that listing to its full potential to generate additional business.
Absolutely. Okay, we are 9:31. Steve, thank you for joining the call, guys. Warm thank you to Steve for scripts. Go to MikeFerry.com. Tony, thank you for participation, and Krista, Claire, and everyone else who participated. We hope that you got something out of this call that's going to help you in your business. And understand the two big ahas I got. Number one is the 10-10-20. That's one. That's great. And then Steve and Tony are both have been in the business for a long time, and they script and role play. Guys, I mean, come on. Just because you're in the business doesn't mean you're an expert. Just because you're in the business 20 years as an expert, you're still scripting and role play. And that says something right there. So I hope everyone has an amazing weekend. It's time to grind. Right now is the time to prosper. Everybody's kind of slacking back and going easy and Christmas shopping.
Don't fall into that trap, because you're going to feel it 60, 90 days from now. So awesome. It's go time.
So Joe, Ailey, Phil back. It is all yours. Everyone, thank you for being here. Have an amazing day.
Hey, thank you for having me. Tom, thank you, man.
All right, see you.
Thanks, Steve.
Hey, Tom.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.